Welcome back to the Partnerships with Purpose podcast, where we explore ways to engage communities in research and other academic projects. I'm Jamie Masterson, and this episode, Community Impact, I sit down with the city manager of Nolanville, Kara Escajeda. We worked with them again in 2019 with 7 different classes with the ENDEAVR initiative. She talks about the community impacts of the student work. She talks about the dedication of faculty and staff to be very present in the community. She also talks about the way other communities in the region now are a little jealous. And she said, we don't think we're too small. We think we're going to do it because we're small. We're more nimble and flexible. Wow. Just wow. Okay, let's hear what she had to say. Let's continue the story along. So we worked with you 2014. The plan was adopted, I think, in 2015, and you were chipping away at those action items. I think something like the next, there were a few little side projects I think we were helping you with. You would call us up and, say like, if you have a student to do like a little design of this corner, how could we imagine it? And, we would try to find some students to kind of put those things together. But I think finally, I guess it was in 2019, you were like, I think we're ready for a comprehensive plan update because y'all had completed so much of that plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
And then through some additional faculty connections that we had, there was a faculty, Whaley and Chanam Lee and a few other faculty who were looking to apply to a grant, the Keck Foundation grant, to really explore ways to enhance student learning, but they wanted to do it through this sort of smart cities exploration project. And so I was talking to Way about it, and I was like, well, and John and I were both kind of brainstorming, this would be a great project to really, authentically engage a community. And you and Nolanville floated to the top of like, maybe, we know how much has been done in Nolanville since that first plan. Maybe they would be someone that would, be excited about this. So I guess to that point, do you mind kind of describing what has been done with this comp plan update and the ENDEAVR project?
Yeah, so basically, the easiest way to describe it is the involvement with the urban landscape class and ENDEAVR kind of took the comp plan update to another level. Like, the first comp plan was great, but having the involvement of the students to generate some of these visions and ideas and incorporating them into the plan has just like taken it to a whole new level and something that a small community probably isn't as fortunate to be able to experience. And we're so grateful that we are, benefiting from that. So when the students started with the complete street design that Shannon Lee helped us with for our Textile Livability project, I think that's when maybe it became evident, like if the students were doing some of these projects to add to the chapters, it would really enhance the final product. And I think that's what you kind of saw when you asked me to do if we were interested in the ENDEAVR. The first thing we did was put it on the agenda as a resolution saying, yes, we absolutely want to be the first pilot for this program. And I think all the surrounding communities are probably a little envious of the involvement because it has given us like we have a different reputation now for Nolanville. Yeah. We do these, we experiment and we research and we don't think, oh, that we're too small to do something like that. We think we're going to do it because we're small. We're more nimble and flexible.
Yeah. So what were some of the things that came out of that project? So there was the walkability, the Complete Streets project with Chon Lee, and you were able to apply for that livability grant. And the ENDEAVR project, I know we did a tech showcase in the community and had some different businesses come out. But what was some of the technology, or what were some of the SMART projects?
So I think I need to explain. Well, okay. So we had our first engagement with the ENDEAVR students, and we had an open house at the park, and this was just pre-COVID when it happened, and they presented some of their ideas, and that was along with CPC as well, the students from your program, and that was a huge hit. Like, it was so much fun and had a lot of good press coverage and a lot of participation. And so then we were really psyched to do the student projects in the middle of them developing their projects, which they're phenomenal, like things that you just wouldn't even dream of, and because there was so much collective IQ between all the different disciplines,
right?
It was just amazing. And so then COVID happened, and it kind of it stifled a little bit of morale, I think, with the students. Like Dr. Whaley probably can speak to that a little bit more, but they really overcame it. And in the end, I think the virtual setting was really useful, and it'll probably be really good for the university in the future to know you can have these engagements that are useful without being on site, so you can help people that are further away from the university still. Because it did have a lot of value still from the remote setting. But I think a lot of what Dr. B wanted to accomplish was to not only have them develop an idea, but to implement it. I think that might have been his motivation, is putting things into action. And so we were able to work with Dr. Lee so that we could work on our transit problem. And I don't know how much you want me to go into detail about that, but basically, we purchased a vehicle with the help of Dr. Lee, and they started putting in the autonomous features into it so that we could be the first city to serve the people through a transit system that was autonomous. And so everybody was psyched about that.
And what was the need? How did that come about? Yeah.
Okay. Well, the Hey Tempo has a transit system, but we're a very small MPO, Metropolitan Planning Organization, in comparison to most larger cities that have a transit system. So it's very hard to sustain it because you'll have, huge buses running these loops that have sporadic people, amount of people, density using them. And so given, our small number and the fact that the train prevented the bus from running on time, every time that they try to run through Nolanville, the train would stop them and they'd be behind schedule. So they're we can't do that. So they ended up okay, we're just going to give you this bus stop, but it's located on the access road of the interstate. So it's not a very safe situation. And there wasn't a bus stop there at the time, which, by the way, was one of the projects that the comp plan helped us get with TxDOT as well. So I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought a little bit. But
you're good.
Basically, the thought was is if we do the autonomous vehicle and we start experimenting with this transit, maybe we can supplement the transit system for the MPO. And so that's what we aim to do. So we started with getting the vehicle equipped with the autonomous features, And then COVID started to get like really scary for us. I think that was about like the August, October timeframe when we started getting concerned about, is there going to be an issue with hospital capacity and whatnot? We might have a hospital capacity issue. So we asked, we had a conference with Dr. Lee, and I don't remember who the other person was. And then all of a sudden, the Plano Intelligence, I believe. And it just kind of bubbled to the surface of like, well, why don't we have like a mobile telemedicine with this autonomous vehicle? And so we stopped work on the autonomous part so much just so we could have that asset available in case we need it. So he started working on refining the deliverability of telemedicine, and that was huge because then it started, it kind of spilled over into the staff thinking about like, how are we going to support the community with this? And then council also was very supportive of it. And in the end, we ended up hiring a couple of part-time individuals to help, implement the program. And we're so thankful that we did that because although we didn't we haven't gotten a lot of huge traction on the telemedicine, there's a lot of interest and a lot of people feel like eventually, this is going to be the way of the future for people to receive their health care. It paid off for us because we started to be able to identify people that were vulnerable. And so when we went into vaccination mode, we were able to use the individuals that were working with ENDEAVR and the vehicle to schedule people for vaccines and transport them to their medical appointments. And now the amount of use is like, it's starting to kind of grow logarithmically, I don't know if I'm babbling a little bit too much about that or like.
Yeah. And well, so what I'm trying to pull out some things that I'm hearing of, the ways in which a university can help support a community. And some of the things you said was sort of maybe an outside group, being able to provide some legitimacy and expertise and help explore some of those ideas that maybe you wouldn't have explored otherwise. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then,
so
go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, no, you go.
Well, I was just going to also say, you also mentioned that you got a fair bit of media attention from it, and and connecting, being able to support vulnerable populations, because of that attention. I don't know if you if you could speak more to that or.
Well, I think that the media coverage not only helped show that, the city of Nolanville council and staff truly cares about their community. Like, it highlighted that quite a bit, but it also highlighted our willingness to embrace technology and figure out how it best serves our small community. And then also just reinforce that the issue of being able to get healthcare when you're not mobile, able to go to the hospital. And plus we wanted to try to encourage people not to be in the hospital to get care if they didn't need to, because that was a place where you could potentially get exposed.
Sure.
So I think there are so many reasons why the media attention was good. It just reminds people that, COVID is still going on, try to do these activities at home to avoid exposures. And then, we love having the positive attention on the city. That certainly helps. And it just helps on all levels of concern, like where is telemedicine going in the future, and how is this important to our region?
Well, and I think Crystal, we talked last week, and Crystal said that it was people in the region were calling y'all about.
Yeah. We were transporting people from other cities to come and get their vaccine because they didn't have any way to get there.
Yeah.
And then eventually, they did the thing for like homebound seniors.
Mm-hmm.
But we were, as soon as that vaccine was available in the county, and this is another thing that Dr. Lee and his ENDEAVR group helped with, is they helped us conceptualize how were we going to deliver testing and vaccinations before the vaccines even came to the area.
Oh, wow.
So his students already, we said, okay, we're gonna do it on Main Street where the fire department is, because then there's a visual reminder for people like, oh, COVID's happening there, COVID testing, COVID vaccine. So it's like so we picked one day of the week, and like every Wednesday you're seeing this happen. But as I said before, that the testing and the vaccines were available, they were helping us plan how are we going to direct traffic through a drive-through, through a pedestrian lockup. What kind of scenarios? How are they saying this vaccine's got to be given? So they came up with ideas for like having like vaccination booths for each individual, and a lot of those concepts were used in the final plan for an EMS edition that we were able to build with the COVID CARES money.
Wow. Yeah. And how, it sounds like, I know we went out for community meetings quite a bit, but I know the other faculty have too. How often, have some of the faculty been coming out in support of the projects, and what is that? How did that help projects progress forward?
Dr. Canon Lee, she came out a couple times when we were doing like she brought the whole class down to like walk the actual street that they were designing. Yeah. And so I don't think you could have maybe gotten as good a product without that. But so that was like the first kind of experience for the council, like, oh, we get to meet the students, and we're seeing them like interested and engaged in the community. So that was very helpful. And then Dr. Lee, Dr. Whaley from the ENDEAVR portion of it, he regularly updated the council. He would be at the meetings. He still comes here on the weekends and helps with the ENDEAVR service if needed. Like if a patient needs to go to dialysis on Saturday and we're having a problem, fitting that in. He's so selfless. He's amazing. And because of that, the council respects and trusts him, and they're willing to, go forward on these projects where if they didn't have that face and that interaction, I don't know that JB is willing to fund some portions of the ENDEAVR.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And it just that, being available, going beyond just that's far beyond what their research grant requires. And, exactly. And what our contract, with you, our agreement with you. And, I think that says a lot about developing that trust, like you said, and being able to move projects forward.
The one thing I didn't mention was like another way that he was able to achieve buy-in from us is when the students would present, he invited us to log in and to like be kind of like a judge or like provide comments back to the students. And they just love that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know they did lots of presentations because I couldn't be at all of them. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The class was quite large.
Okay. And something else that I feel like I heard you say, was, kind of maybe how the community has changed, in terms of how just in the number of projects you've been able to implement, I wonder, what is the city staff like now? How are y'all operating together?
Okay, so this is the thing I told you that happened last night that I hadn't even told you about previously.
Okay.
So we're getting a substantial amount of money from the American Recovery Act, and so this is equivalent to like larger cities get what's called like a CDBG grant every year, so they can do community development. Mm-hmm. We don't get anything like that normally. So this is a really big deal for us.
Yeah.
And so my initial inclination was, all right, we have something that we can do to put that smart museum into play that I think it was one of Dr. Tannen Lee's grad students developed from Dr. Wei Lee's discussions over like a smart putting the technology that we develop in the ENDEAVR program, we have a place to display it to the public and for them to use it.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, the smart museum, we're going to put it on Main Street so it can be seen from the interstate, and this is going to be huge. And so then I started looking at strong towns for ideas. And I came across an article about something about like Neighborhood First, Better Brainerd, Minnesota or something like that. And it talked about like these huge city projects that small cities would undertake, such as like a airport or a university that was not providing any return on investment. It was just they were paying into it, and then there's really nothing for the community to benefit from a development standpoint, community development standpoint.
Right.
And so and then they talked about how they started doing these smaller ideas or these smaller projects, and it was a bigger bang for the buck essentially. And so I was like, oh crap, this is what I was going to do. I was going to like add to the infrastructure. I was going to put another facility on when we have other facilities that we haven't updated and kept up with yet. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
And so I gave the article to all the staff and the council. And I was like, okay, let's have a challenge. And we'll do like in the military, it's called like a 4-day pass where you like get 2 days off with your weekend. And so, that motivated the staff. They were like, that's amazing. And so the challenge was bring me a project that we put into a plan for the American Rescue Act. And if it gets selected, you'll get this 4-day pass. And the challenge was small investment, big idea. And so I didn't realize that they were going to be so energetic about it. But I have like over like 10 specific projects with funding tied to them, and they all kind of tie into each other. And I think the reason that this happened is because they have been involved with ENDEAVR and TPC this whole time. So these concepts and these ideas were there for them to draw upon and actually like put into an actual location in the city where it's needed.
Yeah.
And it just like turned into a brilliant compilation of projects. And now we'll be ready for the American Recovery Act and be able to really put in some smart city initiatives.
That's amazing. I'm like smiling ear to ear. I don't know if you can sense that.
Yeah, I'm going to send it to you. You're going to you will not believe what they came up with.
Wow.
I was floored.
Yeah, that's amazing. I know Crystal had talked about last week just the change in the staff, kind of the energy, and I feel like that's like a perfect example, and the way you're able to kind of nourish that or, like foster that has been that's really amazing.
Yeah, we just think about things differently because we've had these exposures with the students.
Thank you for listening. And if you would like to donate to the program, consider the Good Neighbor Fund, which supports small, low-capacity communities in Texas. Learn more about our program. Follow us on Instagram at TAMUTXTC. Check our website, collaborations.tamu.edu/TXTC. You can also email us at texastargetcommunities@tamu.edu. Thanks.